Star Wars Last Shot, a Han and Lando novel by Daniel Jose Older, has been out for a week now, so today I will be giving my review of the book. This first part will be spoiler free. Last Shot's main story takes place a few years after the Battle of Jakku, focusing around, as you could guess, Lando Calrissian and Han Solo. We get to see their post-war lives unfold and their midlife struggles handling this new way of life, and for Han especially being a father. But it isn't the Han we see in The Force Awakens. He's definitely still the Han of the Return of the Jedi, period. So there is that narrative of this new way of life with a family, but that's just a theme of the characters. The actual driving plot involves Han and Lando pairing up to go find the Phalanx, which they have no idea what it is, and this gets paired with a lot of flashbacks involved in the story. Honestly, it is an enjoyable ride, and does hit some compelling issues in the Star Wars universe. The best part about this book is the characters and the writing of Han and Lando. They are spot on to the characters, and it makes this book believable. They are funny, have plenty of charm, and there is plenty of action. And we get to learn more about L3 before the movie, and she plays a significant role in the plot, and I actually enjoyed her very much. Now, to really talk positives and negatives, I have to be more specific. So that's just kind of my general overview. So spoilers ahead, coming for the book. Positives. Ultimately, it was a good time, and it keeps you hooked as there's quite the buildup and this mystery involving this machine and what is the Phalanx and who this villain is and what is happening to these Wookiees. And there's just a lot of background going on, but you know it's going to come together somehow, and it does. There's surprisingly a lot of action, from space combat. There's pirates, the New Republic fleet gets involved, Lando facing off with the main villain Fyzen Gor, more on him in a minute. There's just a lot going on, and it keeps it fast-paced. The flashbacks. A lot of people are talking about the flashbacks. They actually did work for me for the most part. You have basically one that follows Lando in L3, another one with a younger Han and Chewbacca, and another one providing Gor's backstory. They each tell their own story, and they serve to enhance the bigger picture in significant ways. From reading previous books, ones that are heavy on flashbacks can get bogged down a little bit, but Last Shot does it surprisingly well. The pilot Taka and Lando's love interest Kasha were all intriguing and had a part that fit in the story, and who doesn't love a little baby Ben Solo running naked to see Uncle Lando? It was great. I like the Phalanx and its capabilities and how crazy bad that would be if it were to happen in the Star Wars universe. The tech behind it, when it was fully explained in the final chapters, did convince me, because I was a little skeptical at first how it could actually work. This long range radio that could just take over like any droid. Have you ever tried to program something that works on every OS platform ever made? But it was believable to me in the end, which I enjoyed. And I liked that it was something really small that could do some crazy damage. It's a different take from the super weapons that the Star Wars universe usually has. Another thing I really liked, there's this part where the chef droid back on Han Solo's apartment or home, he pulls out a knife on Ben Solo because he's been taken over. And it really arcs back to Luke Skywalker pulling his saber on Ben Solo at the Jedi Temple. Those two parallel really well. And when that droid has that knife and is about to kill Ben Solo, that obviously scared him and scarred him. And that really correlates back to what happens years later at the Jedi Temple with Luke. I also thought the ending was very satisfying to what happens with Fyzen Gor. After being cut in half. No. Let's make sure he is dead. Alright, some things I didn't like. Let's talk about Fyzen Gor for a minute, because I actually really liked him as a villain. The Utapauan had an interesting backstory as a doctor and seemed menacing and powerful throughout the book. I was definitely intrigued, but at the end I was not so satisfied with his motives. There's just some connection missing, going from captured doctor for a gang to going to kill a ton of innocent people because organics suck. I should say I just felt the connection was weaker than I hoped. They explained it a little bit, but he's definitely crazy. I just wanted a little bit more substance to make it more believable for me. But I really liked him as a villain, and I thought he was a very powerful adversary. It was good. Okay, let's talk about Pikpa. Pikpa is an Ewok slicer introduced into the novel, a very, very good slicer. Okay, how in 3 years does an Ewok go from sticks and stones to understanding basic and becoming one of the elite slicers in like the entire galaxy. I mean, Peekaboo was fun and all in the book, don't get me wrong, but aren't most Ewoks amusing in some way, minus the Ewok hunt in the Battlefront 2? But it did bug me, and I think the author just chose an Ewok because, hey, let's put an Ewok in there, everyone's gonna like Ewoks. But it really doesn't work when you actually think about it. I mean, 3 years, it takes a long time just to learn. I'm not even gonna go that far. There's a part of the book where we meet a Gungan security guard and basically portrays how not all Gungans are like Jar Jar and they get treated like garbage. Meh, whatever. I think that was just kind of shoehorned in. Those are just minor gripes though. The meat of the story is good and it's fun. My final rating for Last Shot is a 4 out of 5. It is enjoyable, you believe the characters, it builds on Han and Lando, it makes you want to see Solo Story even more, and it ties well into the current canon. It does have some minor flaws, but definitely overall it's worth picking up to read. It'll keep you entertained and it's fast paced, so it's an enjoyable time for sure. What are your thoughts on Last Shot? I'm interested to see what others think as they finish this book. Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments or on my Discord. Thanks for watching this episode of Star Wars Lore. If you want to support the channel and get more Star Wars videos, you know how this works. Hit that like or subscribe button and consider visiting my Patreon page. I will see you all in the next episode.